At the beginning of 2018, former British Prime Minister Theresa May held an emergency meeting and issued a decision you might find deeply unusual: the creation of a ministerial position dedicated to combating loneliness. Soon after, Tracy Crouch became the world's first Minister for Loneliness. But why? To confront the growing psychological and physical damage caused by loneliness across British society. At the same time the United Kingdom was leaving the European Union, people across Europe mocked the British, joking that they were isolating themselves, that Britain would become nothing more than a lonely, abandoned island. But behind all the jokes, the memes, and the sarcasm, it turned out that this island was facing a very real epidemic of loneliness. After countless reports and national studies conducted on the British population, researchers discovered that loneliness had rooted itself deeply into the lives of millions. Statistics revealed that 34% of British households are occupied by only one person. 51% of people over the age of 70 live alone. 63% of widows and widowers live alone, and more than 200,000 elderly people have just one conversation per month. One single conversation every month. And these studies did not apply only to the elderly. Young people too may suffer from loneliness, sometimes more than any other age group. Despite Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and dozens of other social media platforms, why do young people still feel so alone? According to a BBC survey conducted on more than 55,000 participants from different age groups, the highest percentage of people complaining about loneliness came from the youth. 40% of young people between the ages of 16 and 24 reported feeling lonely, feeling sadness, feeling misunderstood, feeling like there is no one they can truly talk to. And contrary to the common belief that the elderly suffer the most from loneliness, studies showed that only 27% of them reported experiencing it. If we want to blame someone for this phenomenon, then fingers immediately point towards social media platforms and technological development. People no longer truly speak to one another. They sit in their homes for hours, endlessly scrolling through their phones. Although this explanation may contain some truth, the issue is far more complicated than that. The rapid growth of cities at the expense of villages has intensified this feeling. A large part of the human brain evolved long before agricultural societies even existed. Thousands of years ago, a person would interact with more friends and fewer strangers. Today, dear viewer, you may see more unfamiliar faces in a single day than your ancestors saw in their entire lives. And now we spend less time with the people we actually love. We see our friends less, our families less, and slowly we become more alone. What makes the situation even worse is that today's culture often encourages young people to glorify isolation and extreme self-reliance rather than seeking help, affection, or emotional support. And the tragedy is that this same environment frequently looks down upon people who openly admit they are lonely. The effects of loneliness are not limited to emotional pain alone. In reality, loneliness leaves measurable scars on the human body itself. According to studies conducted by the American Association of Retired Persons, the impact of loneliness is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Loneliness can cause physical damage comparable to that caused by smoking itself, which means loneliness may directly affect human lifespan, physical activity, and even the immune system. People who become ill while experiencing loneliness often take longer to recover than those who feel socially connected. Imagine that for a moment. The feeling of being alone can literally affect your recovery from a physical disease. In a study conducted at University College Dublin, researchers found that people suffering from loneliness have a 32% higher chance of dying prematurely compared to the average person. Because of this, solitary confinement is considered one of the harshest forms of punishment. When a person becomes isolated from others, the mind can begin to harm them psychologically and physically. Some people say they only feel comfortable when they are alone. I like sitting by myself. I can't wait until I finally get some time alone. And here, an important distinction must be made between two concepts: feeling lonely, which is what we are discussing, and simply being alone by choice. Being alone doesn't mean you feel lonely. This leads to the most important question: why does this issue affect people differently? Why can loneliness negatively impact some people's health and productivity, while for others, solitude becomes a source of creativity and better performance? Well, dear viewer, neuroscientists believe the difference lies in the expectations people have regarding their social circles. Someone may desire the company of funny and highly social people, and despite having friends around them, they still feel lonely. On the other hand, another person may not want companionship at all, yet find themselves surrounded by people who feel suffocating to them. That is why some people are not disturbed by solitude, because they need it and expect it. Meanwhile, others feel lonely even while surrounded by friends, because those friendships fail to fulfill their emotional and social needs.